right, so we are back. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we are working this morning. We're going to wait and see what everyone says in the chat. But
chat, do you see people, chat?
If you can't see us, then welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by BKCW Insurance. We got a good, hopefully means that all good. There we go. All right, we're working. So I'm Blake Monroe, joined every morning by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, who are out at Hayes City Store.
There's a Texas offense joke in here somewhere, but
somebody in the chat said even on Texas football has the yips.
We need to reboot the offense here. Now we're going on offense. Let's roll.
Hey, we just needed a mulligan this morning, but we are working now. That's all that matters. So the guys are out there at Hayes City Store. We're going to be talking to Chris Del Conte here in about 4 minutes now, so not too long, and then we'll have Coach Brian Irwin joining us at 9:08. But going to be a loaded show, even if we had some technical difficulties to start with.
Yeah, this is our normal start time, so we're back on the further chat. By the way, I think there's a horse fly that's going to land on the computer soon out here. I got to get this guy off.
This is lovely. Hey, we are out here at Driftwood at Hayes City Store. I mean, this is a true Texas ice house, but elevated. I mean, this is a place to hang out. They've got indoor, outdoor. They got a stage. Live music 6 nights a week. It is a great venue. We appreciate them very much for having us out here. I want to add this. Jerry and I are going to be out here for lunch today. If you want to come out and have lunch, we're going to be hanging out from about 11 to 12 o'clock today before we have to go back in town. We got another event this afternoon over at the Co-op. Make sure you guys check us out there if you're in town. Also, thank you to our friends over at South Point Dodge. This beautiful Dodge Ram truck, limited edition, is behind us as well. Look,
nice.
I gotta be honest. The whole situation out here is gorgeous. It's kind of nice to start your day a little bit further out in the country.
Yeah,
nice.
Hayes City Store, great spot. One of my favorite spots.
Look, news and more today going into it. We had a bunch of different stuff going on. Steve Sarkisian was at the podium yesterday. Blake, roll that before we get to Chris Del Conte, please.
Yeah, here we go.
As far as other guys that I think are ready to kind of step into a fold, I love where Dalen McCutcheon is at. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Nick Townsend and Amari Winston, a couple other true freshmen that I think have made great strides for us. Lance Jackson is a guy who stepped in and got some opportunities last game. Looking forward to seeing him more with some of the opportunities that he gets. And then some other names that maybe aren't true freshmen, but guys that I'm looking forward to playing. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Xavier Filsamy. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Christian Clark and Jarrett Gibson. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Kobe Black. He had some ops, but seeing more of him. So we got plenty of guys that we're looking forward to, and I think the weather is gonna dictate to us that we're gonna have to play more of these guys on Saturday, as warm as it can get. Obviously with the 11 a.m. kick at DKR.
Love the new names he's talking about there, Jerry. Any of them catch your attention?
Yeah. So Nick Townsend and Emory Winston. So Emory Winston back off the shoulder injury. Which Bobby broke that news a few weeks ago when he went down. One of the things that Rod Babers was talking about, I think with Marcus Myers and Coach Shipley last night on live stream, is, will we see some 12 when Texas in 12 personnel, any changes there when it goes from more of an inline guy to 2 receiving threats? That's what I'm going to be looking to see if that happens, because Nick Townsend is a physical and willing blocker. Do you start to see more of injuries in Nick Townsend together in a 12 personnel to really maximize that pass catching ability at tight end? So look, I think Nick Townsend's speed's a little different, and I think speed down the seam is going to be big for this Texas offense as the season moves along, especially if you're playing more under center, Bobby. More under center, more play action, longer developing plays. Who are the guys that can run race pass coverage? I think Nick Townsend at the tight end spot has a chance to be a factor for this team.
It's very interesting. You just mentioned injuries, and that sounds so close to injuries that I have to do a double take every time I hear it, thinking about the tight end for the University of Texas. Look, he mentioned Dalen McCutcheon, and look, you and I follow recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard and as much and as long as just about anybody in the business. You ever recall a guy that is the 4th rated receiver out of a group vaulting himself to the top of a fairly highly rated receiving group? Because that's what he's done. That's what the young man from Lovejoy has done.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time. Guys that play or that train with margin hooks, they come into college a little ahead of the game from a route running standpoint and nuances, understanding the route tree, getting off press coverage. Played at a great high school program at Lovejoy for Todd Dodge's final year. For Coach Lavender, who's now at Duncanville, was at OC, I believe, when he was there prior. But they play a pretty sophisticated high school system, same one Parker Livingstone played in. So he came in ahead of the game, right? And I think that picking up the system too, picking up the system's the big thing. That's what gets you on the field quickest at wide receiver. And where you've seen some other highly rated guys struggle in the past to get on the field as quick as they wanted was picking up the system, all the pre-snap motions and shifts and having a full understanding of that system. So I think Dalen McCutcheon, what he's showing, does he have a little bit of that Cedric Baxter in him, a little bit of that Grayson Littleton in him, and that he's just picked everything up really quickly and that they can trust him from right out of the gate. I think that's kind of what he's showing.
I think there's a little bit more to it than that, though. I think we maybe,
yeah.
And this is my, just internal.
Also, Emmett Mosley's hurt.
Yeah, Emmett Mosley's hurt.
Yeah.
But my internal alarm bell goes off and said, you know what, we didn't rate him high enough or think highly enough of him because he may be better than what we thought. He may be sneaky good, is what I'm thinking. To have beaten those other guys out, even if he had all that training.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point there. Just hearing Sark talk about him. He also talked about some other guys, and we'll get to that a little bit later. We got Chris Del Conte coming up in here in a minute. He just texted me, said he's on his way to be able to see us. So that's good to hear. Blake, anything else we got going on this morning before we move forward?
Well, actually, what I need from you, Bobby, is to tell everyone about BKCW this morning before.
All right, I can do that, brother. Hey, BKCW Insurance is today's show sponsor. Did your business have a frustrating insurance or employee benefits renewal? Most likely you didn't hear from your agent all year, and then right before it was time to renew, your agent delivered the bad news of a rate increase. That's called the insurance trap. BKCW takes you out of the insurance trap by providing you and your business with actual risk management consulting, not just price quoting. Operating out of its headquarters in Austin and owned by a UT grad, BKCW uses a 5-step process to identify your business's weak spots, design a plan, execute it, and monitor your situation throughout the year. BKCW has already helped some of the most well-known construction companies, restaurant groups, breweries, and nonprofits in Central Texas escape the insurance trap. Go to bkcw.com or send an email, info@bkcw, to get started with a free risk assessment or claims audit and escape the insurance trap. 512-250-5055.
And by the way, I just need to point out, if people notice the gray, I am not shaving until Texas punches in a touchdown from the red zone, and I hate it as much as you guys do. I may be worse. By the way, I'm staying with what I said on air, though, even though I debated it. One in the first quarter, and I will shave during the watch with us live.
Just what everybody wants to see.
I want
as they watch the game.
I want this gone as quick as possible.
See, I don't mind a little hair growth. I like it. I only like to shave like once or twice a week, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm a little different. You like it every day? You shave every day?
I don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, on some level, yes. Even if it's a trim, I don't. Yeah.
Hey, we heard Sark talking about players a second ago, guys, but we've had a couple people ask, like Nathaniel here. What about Mosley? Any word on him being good to go this week?
Look, I don't know, Bobby, if we're going to actually see him play this week. So I think he's kind of gone through the week, and we'll see where it's at. I think we will. I think there's a chance we see him before Florida in a game, though. So we'll see. We'll see on that. But this week, I think that's very much up in the air.
And Frantic Longhorn says Jerry's going to have a full beard now. Thank you for the super chat. Jeff Carey with super chat. Arch Manning passing yards over under 270 yards. What would you take?
Man, I have a hard time believing Sark's just going to light up the scoreboard right now. For some reason, I do think they're going to get in the mid to high 40s, but I don't think they're going to do it by throwing deep. I maybe once or twice. I would say under like 250. I've said this all week. I want Arch to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 of 20 or 17 of 22. Somewhere where he has like 75% plus completion rate. That's my feel for this game. Not so much yardage. And the reason I say that is I think the goal should be getting him on time, like getting him efficient and ready to roll.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to come down to how San Jose State plays defensively. What are they going to do from a coverage standpoint? Are they going to are they going to surrender some run to condense the game and try to get out of Austin as quick as possible? Because the thought is they're going to throw it 50 times. Well, that's going to make for a longer game. Their defense is not going to be able to hold up in this heat in Texas for 4 quarters at all. So how are they going to play? Are they going to play more zone defensively? I hope they do for the sake of Texas moving forward this year. I think that'll help Texas more. Or are they going to play man and load the box? If they do that, I think Arch and Texas are going to hit some big plays, and the passing numbers could go higher. If they sit in the zone and maybe let Texas run it and just want to condense the game, give Texas a possession or two less, then that's going to drive the passing numbers down for Arch. So it's really going to depend on how San Jose State plays Texas, first of all, and two, what does Sark want to get out of this game?
And, we talked about this yesterday. Jay Dobbs here says the meteorologist is promising a cool front this afternoon.
Is Jay Dobbs a meteorologist?
I don't know, but it is a little bit warmer now, fellas, than what we saw yesterday. Now they're saying a high of 91. It's not as hot, but humid. So it's going to be a warm one out there still.
Yeah, and the number there, the biggest number for me in a game like this is what's the number on the field for the teams. The UV index is down to 4. That's really good for the fans going to the game, by the way, because that's the thing I look at. What's your burn rate? But it's going to be 130, 140 on the field. That's the number I'm looking at because that's the number San Jose State staff is thinking about right now.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of sunglasses and Mr. Cool, let's bring in the Padre of Texas athletics. Look, you're taking off your sunglasses, Chris. We thought you were getting ready for that UV index of 4 tomorrow.
I heard Hamilton. That's ridiculous.
Hey, before we get to the good stuff, if it's 140 on the field, how many suits do you go through in a game?
It actually doesn't bother me. I just heard more.
You're in that tennis shape. You're in that tennis.
I'm in tennis shape. Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah. Mr. Del Conte, thank you for joining us, Chris. We really appreciate it. One of the reasons I want to have you on, it is the home opener tomorrow for the Longhorns. And ever since you became athletic director at the University of Texas, you, Drew Martin, the guys and women there at the University of Texas have done a tremendous job of improving what I would say the game day atmosphere at Texas. The creation of Bevo Boulevard, Austin, the limits, city limits area, that whole thing. Y'all have just done a tremendous job. I wanted to give you a chance to tell people what you have in store for them this year, if you don't mind.
It's like surprise, surprise, surprise. We're not going to reveal anything here, Bobby B.
You're not? Okay.
Hey, at 11 o'clock game, we need everyone to get out of bed bright and early and get to the stadium and get going. So if I start pontificating what we're going to do, they're going to go, well, we'll pass on that. Let's just wait. So you got to keep a few things in your pocket.
Okay. Keep something in your pocket. What time do things get started, though, tomorrow morning out there for y'all?
I think the crazy thing about 11 o'clock game, it just pushes everything up. I mean, you'll think about we'll get here, staff will get here around 4:35. We'll start getting ready. I mean, we're just busily doing everything now. So I usually get to the stadium, do a complete walkthrough around 5 a.m. just to make sure the house is clean and we're ready to roll. Gates open up, everything opens up at 8 o'clock. And the one thing about an 11 a.m. game it just compresses everything you're doing. I really love a 2:30 or a night game because then you have a full day just to enjoy the entire process. But way it works today, home opener 11 o'clock. Last week in Columbus, same time for us. So it is a time slot that we got to get used to, unfortunately. So it's just one of those things that we will be here bright and early serving tacos and seeing what we can do.
Chris, I appreciate you being on with us. I know fans love to hear from you. Yesterday, it was interesting. The new ruling or suggested ruling, I guess, from the Oversight Committee about the one transfer rule for 10 days starting January 2nd. And then also possibly a dead period in the month of December for college coaches. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about on this morning's show. Do you think this move to a one period transfer portal is the right one for college sports?
I do. And I think it came from the practitioners. It came from student athletes, a collection of everyone talking about it. Mind the pundits on the internet warriors who get on Twitter or whoever else with an opinion and the weekend lawyers, because that's the new action is weekend warriors. Student athletes, everyone's looking for some sense of semblance of normalcy in a windows, from coaches to student athletes to everyone involved. I think this gives us the best chance for us to at least have a standardized normal operation of, okay, here's the season, here's the portal window, here's what we're doing academically, this is what it looks like. So you put everything back in a realm that makes sense, because currently right now there's nothing that makes sense. But what we're doing is we're keeping Hamilton employed.
Yes.
And just teaches everyone 24/7, right? So when you think about that, now you say, Hamilton, right here, buddy, this is your window to knock it out.
Thank goodness. Thank you. That may get it. That may get 2 vacation days now.
Exactly right.
Hey, so one of the questions we get from the chat a lot is about the indoor facility, where everything on schedule there. Could you give the Texas fans an update on the indoor facility and where that's at?
Well, it's interesting. Hamilton, love that. Where's the camera? My problem with the camera, I've been trying to figure out a way to put it. It can't put it on the backside because the rec center's there, and we're in the process of doing another construction project within the football stadium, moving the press boxes. So we've had this real weird angles to do that. If you drive by, the indoors coming along great. The parking garage will start the actual steel. The floor will start to come out of the ground in terms of the actual rec center. The press boxes in the north and the south end zone have been closed in. They won't be completed this year, but the west side suites are underway as well. So that little project within DKR is going on schedule. We will be opening up the indoor probably. We anticipate May of next year, or May, June. We had a little bit of a delay because I had to move some trees. There's some monster trees. I was like, take a chainsaw, we'll replant them. But some of these things were 100 years old, so everyone lost their mind. So we saved a bunch of trees. It took us forever to move.
Chris, you've got so many projects going on in your head. I don't know how you keep up with all of them across. Please ask CDC if plans for the mini Moody are going forward. If so, what's the potential timeline and location?
I actually haven't heard of this one.
Is this the volleyball?
Yeah, I think at one time, I always get a little ahead of myself. But yeah, we got to do this. I think at one time we were looking at what does it look like for a smaller venue that we could connect to Moody for volleyball and smaller concerts. So that was always a top of mind when we started looking at that footprint. Our current volleyball facility is served as well. It is unbelievable, but it's so antiquated. Concessions, restrooms. It's not ADA compliant to today's era, built in the 30s, and it's lovely. But at some point in time, that is going to, its shelf life is going to diminish, and we have to be anticipating that. So it's still part of the process. It's still in the queue. But then you hire a new baseball coach. He has to have something. Mikey White has to have. all these coaches start winning. They all want to eat. It's ridiculous.
When you know you're hiring the right people.
Yeah. Well, Hamilton, they all go to the breakfast table and just want to eat. And I'm like, guys, we just do one thing at a time. There's no patience. And the good thing about Texas fans and our entire ecosystem, they have no patience either. So it's wild.
Well, I tell you what, they may have no patience, but you're going to be able to have some patience. You just inked yourself a big, long deal to remain the athletic director at the University of Texas about a month ago, Chris. I think all Texas fans would say they're very happy that you decided to stay at the university and sign a long-term deal. You've won 4 of the last 5 Directors' Cups. You've done a marvelous job leading the University of Texas athletics. Why did you decide to sign a long-term agreement with the university?
Well, one, that's credit to our coaches and student athletes doing a yeoman's job and our staff. I think at the end of the day, when we lose, stability at Texas needs to be, and you guys covered us forever. When we're not stable, you think about the turn of in 2008, 9, 10, we were going through that massive transition. 3 different ADs, 3 different basketball coaches, football coaches, chancellors, presidents. I think this go around when President Hartzell went to SMU and our chancellor went to the UC system. I think to me, the University of Texas is the very best place. It is the straw that stirs the drink. When we're united, it is the very best. Well, family squabbles are always going to happen, but I think chairman of the board and that board of regents are so good, and they believe in what we're doing. And I think they just looked at it and said, let's make sure that we keep everybody on place and keep the momentum rolling. A 10-year deal. I'm not too sure my wife wants to see the season. She's like, have you lost your mind? But, I think one of the things that I wanted to whether the contract, I finish it out or not, I plan on that. I wanted everyone to know that you don't leave Texas. There's no other job greater than Texas. You be loyal to Texas. Texas will be loyal to you. And if we work hard, great things happen. But when you have this unevenness, I think what makes our secret sauce right now is that we have Kevin Altai from the Board of Regents that are all Longhorns. Remember a different governor, we had all kinds of people that weren't Longhorns on our Board of Regents. So once we have that, it makes sense and it gives us continuity. President Femis was phenomenal. Jay Hartzell was phenomenal. President Jim Davis, you guys don't know him. He is an incredible man. And he was really the guy behind the scenes. Everything that got done, he was the chief operating officer. You had someone out there talking about it. This dude is a straight Clydesdale, just a workhorse. Just a workhorse. Gets everything done. Says, okay, here's what gives you the freedom to do what you want to do. Knocks it out, but absolutely went to school here, loves it. I mean, he's phenomenal.
Hey, CDC, one thing I wanted to ask you. So Sean Miller is hired. He moved the coach's office. Is there a coach with a better view of the university than Sean Miller's in the Moody practice facility where his office is? I mean, it's like he has an amazing view for people that haven't seen it when they walk by Moody.
That Vic has the same on the other side. So just to tell you is that was actually that whole when you build a building, I don't build it. I ask coaches what they need. They go design it for themselves. So they designed the locker room. When we did the football, Tom Herman got it, and then Steve gets it. Oh, we got to change this up. So when we built that the practice facility, it was actually Karen Ashton and Ashaka that designed the entire building. Now they didn't move into the building.
Right.
Beard and Coach Schaefer moved into the building. Beard used that more of as a recruiting room.
Right.
Vic used it more as his office. It was supposed to be their offices. And then you had a working room on the other side in the video lab. So when you go through that entire building, it's just being appropriately used now. Coach Beard had it completely different. He had like a ping pong table in there.
Sean can almost watch the football game from his office.
Yes, he can. And
he has the best view on campus.
He and Coach Schaefer don't, but currently until the indoor gets built, they're mad at me because the indoor is going to take part of their. At least Coach Schaefer has a view of downtown. But yes, it's a phenomenal view.
Hey, Chris, your assistant told me you had a hard out this morning, so we appreciate you very much joining us. You have been such a blessing to the University of Texas, and I know a lot of fans believe that and are happy that you signed that deal to stay at the University of Texas for a long period of time, and wish you nothing but the best luck. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow somewhere on Bevo Boulevard while you're out there.
Hey, fellas, wear a coat and tie tomorrow. It's game day, okay? I expect you guys to be suited and booted, all right?
Take care.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Hook 'em.
Be good, buddy. Hook 'em. Always a good guest, man.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, always a good guest.
Yeah.
Blake, we've talked about it for a long time, and University of Texas is extraordinarily lucky to have a guy that is committed to the university. When he says that he felt like he wanted to say, hey, this is the best place, there's nowhere better than here, and that's why he signed that. He kind of put his money where his mouth is.
That's 100% right.
And so that's a good thing.
And the funniest thing he said was everybody wanting new facilities. Well, and that's what I said. You're hiring the right people when they win, and you have to upgrade their facilities. If you hire somebody, you don't have to upgrade their facilities. That means you probably fired them. So this is all good for the University of Texas. And I'm impressed he only goes through one suit on game day when it's 140 on the field. I actually didn't know that. I've been wanting to ask him.
How does he do that? I'll never know.
Tennis shape. It's called tennis shape.
That's beyond tennis shape. And in suit coat.
Yeah. And by the way, we'll have Coach Brian Irwin on at 9 coming up here in about 8 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you heard Del Conte say suited and booted. Bobby, tell everyone how they can get booted.
I bet he's wearing Tacovas.
Yeah.
There we go. Get 10% off at tacovas.com/Texas football. Anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. Born in Texas in 2015, Tacovas are handcrafted with every stitch on point. Tacovas boots are made for a good time and a long time. I love the fact that they're already broken in straight out of the box for comfort. And Tacovas makes it easy for anyone to find their favorite boot with all kinds of sizes and styles. Tacovas are simply the best boot around. I really feel like they can either be daily boots or you can wear them out on a date. Right now, get 10% off at tacovas.com/Texas football. That's TECOVAS.com/Texas football. With Tacovas Best in the West guarantee, you also get free returns and exchanges for 30 days. Point your toes west, men, as it relates to Tacovas.
And I'm going to tell you all about HexClad this morning with the family of 5. We cook a lot, which means we need reliable, durable cookware that gets the job done. I'm not talking about those cheap pans that your food sticks to nonstop and that scratch easily. In my household, we use HexClad. They're hands down the best pans that we have ever used, and you get the performance of stainless steel and the convenience of nonstick in one pan. Not only are they good enough for me, but even Gordon Ramsay uses HexClad in his restaurants and his home, and he's obviously the toughest critic on the planet. For a limited amount of time right now, our listeners get 10% off your order with our exclusive link. All you have to do is head to hexclad.com/OnTexas. And they're durable, they're scratch resistant, their patented hexagon design protects against scratches even when using metal utensils. They're also oven safe, they're dishwasher safe, and they're simple to wipe clean after each use. And the best part is HexClad products come with a lifetime warranty. They literally last a lifetime. It's seriously the best cookware I've ever owned. Don't take my word for it. Try them out yourself. Remember, you can get 10% off for a limited amount of time. Support our show. Check them out at hexclad.com/OnTexas. That's HexClad, HEXCLAD.com/OnTexas. Make sure to let them know that OTF sent you. And don't forget, Bobby, bon appetit. Let's eat with HexClad's revolutionary cookware.
Hey, if you think Gordon Ramsay is a tough critic, we got one coming that's as tough as they come.
I'm going to bring him on in right now, Coach Brian Irwin.
There's only a few people that can follow the athletic director at the University of Texas. It's got to have somebody that has multiple state championship rings, and somebody who probably has a little Gordon Ramsay in it when a block is missed on 3rd and 2.
Man, all I could think about was a beef Wellington from Hell's Kitchen. Man, the Gordon Ramsay's beef Wellington, Hell's Kitchen, Lake Tahoe is like one of my favorite meals in the world.
Well, I bet that 4th and 1 wasn't your favorite.
It wasn't. It wasn't. We need a little more push behind the tush, and we need Ohio State to line up on sides. Also, that didn't help. They had multiple guys off sides, and that was a bad deal. But we've got to be more physical. We've got to have a little bit better plan, and I think we will.
Hey, we're out here, Brian, at Hayes City Store this morning. Live broadcast, remote. Got South Point Dodge truck behind us. You have been with us for 3 years and grown with On Texas Football. You and I have known each other for 30-plus years. It's fun to do this sort of thing and look back over the last 30 years and kind of see the evolution of college football and what's gone on. What do you make of this new transfer portal rule? I talked a little bit about it with CDC just a minute ago. 10 days in January, starting January 2nd. Now, we think if teams are still in the playoffs, there's probably going to be a waiver of sorts for those teams to also enter it. And then also, as part of that, and this is what I really like actually from this ruling, as much as the one single portal transfer window, the entire month of December now becomes a dead period. If y'all remember last year, Brian, you remember this, it drove me nuts because Texas and Georgia played in the SEC championship game, right? Yep. They were penalized. Texas and Georgia were actually penalized by going into the championship game because they couldn't have recruits that weekend.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else did. Now, with this new ruling coming out, and we think it's going to go into effect, people are going to have a dead period in the month of December. So what are your thoughts? Is this the right move in the right direction? CDC said he thinks so. I think so. Jerry, you in the same phase, having been in the college game as well as high school game and seen kids go through this stuff?
Yeah, I love the dead period that time of year because it doesn't penalize the successful teams, Texas, Georgia, guys that are in these championship games, because it definitely was penal for us and some of those other teams that couldn't recruit efficiently during the month of December. The other thing you mentioned was the transfer portal. I love that. I love the one window, January 2nd. I read your short article this morning, Bobby, so I was a little bit ahead of the game on this by reading that, and I didn't know about it until I read your short little article, and I love it because the old guy in me, the vintage part of this and the game of football. I like the NIL. I love the NIL. I wrote my thesis paper in 1992 over paying college athletes. And I wanted to pay them. And I remember when we had Lavelle Pinckney and guys like that, in the dorm rooms, and those guys weren't able to make any money, and they weren't able to go out on the weekends, and they were stuck in the dorm. And I wrote my whole thesis paper over that. And I really feel like we need to be able to pay these guys, and we're paying them handsomely now. The part I don't particularly like is the transfer portal and how these guys are just jumping around, going from here to there. They get unhappy, they go somewhere else. They get unhappy, they go somewhere else. So tightening this transfer portal down, I'm all in favor of it. Making one window, making it consistent for everyone there at the end of the season. So I would just love to see more discipline on the part of players, and just because things aren't going right, sticking with it and not jumping ship and not running to the next place. Being an old high school football coach, high school kids can't do that. High school kids go to school where they live and their hometown and where they grew up, and there's some loyalty built in. And I think loyalty is the most important 7-letter word in the English dictionary. Loyalty is what our society is missing a little bit. I would love to be able to still teach that concept even to college athletes.
Hey, I got to bring this up because one of our fans, Texas City former player and graduate, said, "Tell Coach Irwin, go Stings, man." We missed that game, man. Things have changed too much, hasn't it?
No way on the Stings. I tell you what, that was one of the greatest rivalries in the world.
Yes.
Lamarck and Galveston Ball, and Lamarck and Texas City. Those are true rock fights twice a year, and we sure enjoyed them. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, Brian, you go back and talk about what happened on Saturday against Ohio State and the shortcomings. We talked a little bit on lunch with the coach, Coach Shipley, and you and I, et cetera. let me ask you this. What are you looking for and what do you want to see out of Texas this weekend? We know it's a lesser opponent. We know it needs to be a bounce back game of sorts, but what are the things that you will find or you will think are true to what you want to see?
Defensively, more of the same. Maybe, just more players. Okay. So the common theme, I think, and what I would want to see going into tomorrow is just more players on the field. Let's get a look at more guys, but more of the same defensively. We can't ask for much more than we got last week, other than, some more pressure. Let's get the quarterback on the ground, or let's really, really affect him. So truly getting pressure from the front four, getting the quarterback on the ground. Kicking game wise, again, more of the same Bowmeister that we saw last week. I think we're going to get that every week. I'm anxious to watch, Shipley, the kicker, and see how he looks under pressure a little bit. And then offensively, I think it's a little more interesting. Probably three-pronged approach here with Arch. Let's start with Arch. Two things I want to see out of Arch. I want his mechanics cleaned up. I hope that was a one-off last week. I hope something hadn't happened in the offseason where he's gotten sloppy with his mechanics, because if he has, it's going to take some time to get back. But mechanics with Arch, and then secondly with Arch, I want to see the guy he's going to be. I want to see his leadership come out. I want to see his leadership shine. I want to see Arch being Arch, who I think he is, and the type of leader that he is. I want to see that guy, probably even more so than the mechanics improvement. At the running back position, I want to see Clark and Gibson. We've got to find out which back is going to, he brought it up a while ago with the Texas City thing. We used to talk our backs in Lamarck, the backs in Texas City, the backs at Galveston Ball. When you played in that game, those running backs ran like their butts were on fire. I've never seen running backs run the way Galveston County running backs could run a football. And I want to see which Texas back is going to run like their butts on fire. And let's give Clark a shot. Let's give Gibson a shot. Wisner ran really, really well last week. CJ's going to keep getting better, but we need that guy that's just going to come out of his skin every freaking play and run like his butt's on fire. And then lastly, I want to see more receivers playing. I want to see the young guys, see what they've got. We've got to develop a little bit more depth back there and out there. So let's give those guys a shot to go be explosive and make some plays.
And we have a question from the chat here that I think is I'm interested to hear your answer on this one. What Coach from Burt Reynolds Jr., thanks for the super chat. Coach, what did you think of our OL play versus Ohio State, looking back at it?
It was much better than I thought it was going to be. I was very pleased. I thought we ran the ball. We ran the ball for 170-something yards, and it was tough. It was tough yardage. Yeah. It wasn't gimmicky. We were in a reverse, but other than that, it was tough yardage. And I thought our offensive line really held up well. I thought they protected Arch well. Arch went from read one, read two. He's standing back there almost reading a book back there, and that's kind of was a double-edged sword, because it probably made Arch a little more hesitant because he did hang in there so long. But I think that was one of the strengths of what Arch did week one, was he looked poised back there in the pocket and not being happy feet and staying with his progression and trusting his offensive line. I really believe that Arch trusts his offensive line last week. I think he's going to continue to do it. So from a run standpoint, pass protection standpoint, I thought the offensive line looked fantastic. We still got to cut down those, the false starts and the pre-snap penalties. And I think we do that, things will get cleaned up. But from a physical aspect and a cohesive aspect, and then working combo blocks, working, from the down lineman up to the second level for game one, I think they were way ahead of schedule.
Brian, on last night's live stream, Coach Shipley was on, and he brought something up that Marcus Myers and Rod Babers kind of said, that's something we hadn't really contemplated much this week. But when he said it, it was very, they're probably right. Everybody's predicting high-scoring Texas game this weekend, mid 40s, high 40s, low 50s. Is Steve Sarkisian really going to show people what he's got against San Jose State? Are they really going to try to light up the scoreboard? Or are they just going to try to be efficient? In other words, what Coach Shipley was saying, I don't think they're going to actually go out and show much against San Jose State. It makes sense, but we were all thinking, hey, let's get the offense on track. May want to show some stuff. What are your thoughts on that?
I was never that guy that was going to hide something. I mean, to me, you have to practice it, you have to rep it, you have to call it in a game in order to get really, really good at it. And I wasn't really concerned with what the opponent saw on film. They know our plays, they just don't know them as well as we do.
Yeah.
You know, that was our mentality. Yeah, we run the toss sweep, and you know we're fixing to run the toss sweep, but you don't know it as well as we do. So I think he's going to try to be explosive. I think we're going to look for explosives. I think he's going to try to, ring the scoreboard and go ding, 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 ding. And I think that's who he is. I think that's what we're all about. And saving something for Florida, to me, is not the answer. The answer is let's get better at what we do, because if we get great at what we do, Florida can't beat us.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, most important question of this whole interview. Have you ever been to Hayes City store?
Man, Bobby was talking about how much we've grown together, and Bobby and I have known each other for 30 plus years. Jerry, we go back to 2002, 2003 when I was at Lamarck, and you'd come by a lot, and we developed a really close relationship. So, I mean, you talk about Buda Hayes. That place used to be just a dot on the map back when I was in school, and I was at Texas as a student assistant and a GA. But no, I have not been to that store. But
it's an amazing. We may have to do a watch with us. You may have to do one with us here, man. It's a great spot.
That sounds like a good time.
Brian, you have before we let you go here, we appreciate you spending time with us this Friday before game day. You have a score prediction for this game? You want to give us
the most?
Yeah, I know.
I'm
looking at him shake his head.
Well, Jerry and I just blew it last week. We said we got to have 3 touch. Jerry said it. And I agreed 100%.
Well, it actually ended up being true.
Well, yeah, 3 total. Yeah, that's right. That's a point between the 2 teams, right? But I'm saying somewhere in the 42-6 range. I think we'll hold them to a couple field goals, hopefully. I watched a little bit of San Jose State last week. They were not, unless they were just completely overlooked in Central Michigan, they didn't look too hot on offense. Quarterback really, really, really struggled. The thing I like San Jose State because I watched them a lot last year. Loved them. Loved the style of play. They're very physical. They're not going to be intimidated. They got players over there that are, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to get after us. They're going to be pretty physical. They'll do their best to stop the run. This is a physical outfit. I mean, they, especially watching them a lot last year, defensively, they will strike you. So I think somewhere in the 42-6 range.
All right, Brian, thank you so much, bud. We will be talking to you again on Monday for Lunch with the Coach. That's Brian Irwin. Hook 'em, Brian. Take care of yourself, buddy.
Hook 'em. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we got more super chats we have to get to this morning. Let's see here. Let's take Nathaniel's. Nathaniel Gomez says, Hook 'em me, predictions on our play calling, but before the game, rank your top 3 tailgate foods. Texas barbecue beverages, jalapeno poppers, chips and dips, burgers, hot dogs, chicken wings. Also, he says, give him 45 to 10.
Corn dog with mayo, corn dog with mayo, corn dog with mayo. Next.
Oh, my God.
Dude, give me him.
But they don't have that at Hayes City store, and that's okay because this place is amazing.
Dude. Jalapeno poppers are I like spicy food, especially early game days.
Yeah.
Like I had a jalapeno cheese bagel this morning for breakfast. They did not have the normal breakfast taco I get where I go at early in the morning. But my thought process is jalapeno poppers are good. I love queso with a little bit of meat mixed in, hamburger meat, taco seasoning like that. What else?
I treat every Saturday like it's the state fair in Texas OU. I'm having a corn dog with a corn dog, man. I mean, that's what football season's about. Treat it every week like it's Texas OU, Bobby.
You know what one thing my wife makes that I love? Whenever Texas isn't playing on a Saturday and I'm at home with her, she makes a tortilla soup, chicken tortilla soup. That's good stuff.
I will say this, though. Every time you're walking towards the tailgate, our tailgate was Surly Horns, you pass Pinkerton's barbecue.
Yes.
And that's going to be an answer for a lot of people because you smell it.
Yes.
It's like the opposite smell of when you're going to Belle Glade to watch Glade Central. This is the smell you want. Okay, so you walk by Pinkerton's and smell that barbecue and you're all in.
I will say this. We'll also have at the tailgate tomorrow, I want to mention, we'll have garage beer as well as Flight from Yingling.
Yes.
As part of that. So please.
And the garage lime beer.
Yes.
I picked all that up yesterday. It's there's a lot of cases. Y'all come have some fun.
Oh, if someone sends a $50 super, Jerry will shave with mayo.
With mayo?
This is Matthew Hutchison. This is our producer.
With mayo. Hey, Matthew, why don't you get your favorite team to stop spitting on players?
Yes. Matthew, our producer, is a Eagles fan, and he was unaware because he did not get a chance to see the start of the game that Jalen Carter got kicked out in the first 6 seconds
for spitting on somebody. The first play before the first.
How about
before the first play?
How about all that culture that Kirby Smart and his Georgia players show?
They got rings.
They do have rings, but they also have it. Yeah.
We got another super chat this morning. Let's see here. Jerry's Jack Link says Sark held back against Ohio State purposefully. He has alluded to non-con games being less meaningful. I will die on this hill, says Jerry's Jack Links. He's only worried about the SEC.
I got to tell you, I don't disagree with this. I don't disagree with this. Rod talked about it, a lot less motion. There was a lot of things that kind of led you down that path during the Ohio State game and after with Rod's second and third and fourth watches. And I don't disagree here. I think we're going to see Texas get what they want out of the passing game, get Arch. A lot's going to depend on the coverage San Jose State throws at Texas. But I think you're going to see still being, and I'm not saying I disagree with Coach Irwin at all. I'm just saying what I think this is to this point. I think we're going to see as vanilla as possible while getting Arch the reps he needs and get him to complete the balls and see the routes that he needs that are going to be important come conference time. That's where I come out. I don't disagree with that, really.
Bobby, let's see here. We have another super chat from Leandrew25. Speaking of the transfer portal, do you think the NCAA should implement a one transfer rule? Because why are guys on their sixth school in 5 years?
You can take it before me.
Yeah. So here's one of my thought on this. I don't think they should limit it to one transfer, but I think they should limit it to one transfer without penalty. If you want to transfer twice, feel free. But that second one, you're sitting out a year. I mean, bottom line, that's what I think. I think it should be limited to one free transfer. I don't want to limit a guy. Look, if he transfers and a coach leaves or something and you want to transfer again, that's your life and your deal. But there has to be a penalty that comes after one. It can't just be bouncing around year to year to year to different schools. I don't think that's good for college athletics.
I think it sucks for college athletics.
Yep.
It's one of the things we talked about. It was interesting. You know, Brian Irwin brought this up, and I didn't mean him to go in this direction, but he said loyalty was the most important letter word in the dictionary. There's a little bit of that to me, but it's also learning how to stick with decisions and see them through. I just think that that's a big thing. Yeah. I really do, Jerry. I mean, I would say that you should probably limit it to two transfers instead of just unlimited without penalty.
Yeah,
just two. I wish it could be just one, but I don't think that's realistic because too many coaches move.
Yeah,
guys, too many coaches.
Well,
move.
The flip side of the argument is going to be, all right, so a player can transfer into a school. So let's say somebody transfers into Texas, and after the next season Coach Sark goes to the portal to replace that player. So shouldn't he just be able to transfer again and play right away? That's the argument that players will make, it probably, and some people will make. But I'm going to be steady with it. Oh my gosh, this is.
I'm going to step out while y'all watch this.
No, come. So this is a great day.
Oh my gosh.
How many calories have man? 256 calories, 100 calories. Have a seat. Have a seat. Tell us about Hayes City Store. So there's, I don't know, 25,000 calories in this. Who wants the jug of mayo? Hey, thanks for joining us.
Oh, no problem. No
Yeah,
problem. It's our honor.
Tell everybody at about Hayes City Store that hadn't been here, because you have built an unbelievable business. This is a great spot. One of my favorites.
Well, thank you. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary in March. It was a convenience store by the same name for 30 years. Kind of right in the middle of Hayes County, between Dripping Springs, Wimberley, Kyle, Buda, and we just kind of made a menu to satisfy families and grandparents, and bring the whole family out, and chicken fried steaks and enchiladas and fried shrimp and burgers and wings and 50 beer taps and great margaritas, and we do live music.
Great live music 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
Great game watching. The first time I ever came here, y'all see the name Jason Watts in the chat. We grew up down the street from each other, and he lives over in Wimberlin. He brought me to this place, and I was watching college football, and this became like one of my favorite like places that I've been as far as an atmosphere to watch college football. So if you're in the area, if you live in this area, this is a great spot to come watch college football, listen to some live music. You have it going. I'm going to push Bobby for us to do a watch with us here or something, because I think it'd be such a fun environment to be on a Saturday.
You're welcome anytime. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
The Hayes City Store, a must stop for all you guys when you come to the Austin Driftwood area. Come check it out. One of the best venues and one of the best atmospheres in the area.
Hook 'em.
Oh, and what a gift. This isn't a gift. He's taking this back because this cost him a lot, but man, what a way to go.
Yeah. So, awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
All right.
That was Travis Tyndall. That was
Travis
Travis Tyndall.
Tyndall, yeah.
He and his wife are the owners.
I did forget to say that part. I was
Yeah,
having a
it's
conversation
okay.
with buddy Travis Tyndall.
Did you show some of the photos?
I did. That's why Jerry was having trouble, is because he got to looking at the chicken fried steaks and the burgers. And
I plan to not eat lunch, but I am definitely eating lunch. We're going to fast another day.
Yeah, I was going to say, there ain't no fasting
We're
today.
to fast another day.
Hey, I will say this, and there is no doubt that it is a Texas establishment either. Did you get the photo of the flag, the big Texas flag
Yeah,
up
we put
there?
that one
was-
up as
yes.
well.
Yeah, that thing is bigger than you think.
Yes.
I'll just put it that way. As we walked in today, or as we drove up today, that thing was showing loud and proud. Loud and proud.
I think it's my time to shine, isn't it, Blake?
I was about to say, man, you're getting good. I don't even have to cue you anymore. It is your time to shine. Go with it.
We're on the same wavelength, Blake, and that's dangerous.
That's scary.
Hey, Cowboys fans, you probably need to put your Chubbies on. Are you ready for some football? If you're not, Chubbies is ready to help you with their NFL collection. Whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs and lows of the game from your couch, Chubbies has officially licensed NFL gear to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. That's very important. With bold designs featuring your favorite NFL team, Chubbies game day gear isn't just comfortable, it's a statement. Rep your team's logos in wildly comfortable polos, wave-making swim trunks, and gym-ready mesh shorts. Yep, you heard it right. Swim trunks with your favorite NFL team's logo on them. All the comfort and swagger, we love the term swagger, you need to take on every touchdown dance, chest bump, or dramatic fourth quarter meltdown. If you're not a jersey guy, this is an elite alternative. If you're a jersey fanatic, something tells me you'll love their NFL collection, because when you're invested in the game, your outfit better be and should be too. For a limited time, use the exclusive code ONTexas for $10 off at chubbyshorts.com/OnTexas. Yes, that includes the NFL collection. The thighs of Texas are upon you. Let the good times roll with Chubbies. Chubbies.
Good stuff. And I'm going to tell everyone about Prize Picks. We make decisions daily, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And with football here, it's time to make that money. Prize Picks is simple to play. You're just going to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get them right, you cash in. You can win up to 2,000 times your money. Now, that's the best way to get in on sports action in more than 40 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and, of course, right here in the great state of Texas. Prize Picks has NFL. They have college football. They have just about any and every sport that you're going to want or watch. And this week, I have Michigan running back Justice Haynes to score a touchdown against OU, and for Arch Manning to have more than 268 passing yards. So come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real cold, hard cash. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And that's Prize Picks. Run your game.
Hey, we got to talk about Ski Breck with the update from his Disney vacation. Just here to like the video, drinking some sort of mango pineapple OJ blend at the Polynesian Disney Resort. About to drop $650 on breakfast. Congrats on that vacay, Ski Breck.
I've been there, Ski Breck. I feel your pain. I've been there, Ski. Don't worry.
Hey, we were talking about the Cowboys-Eagles game a little bit last night. I do want to say this. CeeDee Lamb, that was not your best fourth quarter, my man. That was a tough way to lose because Dak Prescott played well last night, I thought, and then just didn't get bailed out by his big-time receiver.
Yeah, I think he watched the Oklahoma offensive line block Illinois State too much last week. Sooners, Cowboys.
Hey, big game. We need to talk about the games coming up this weekend, too. Oklahoma hosts Michigan as well. Blake, you had something for us?
I do. You're talking about big games. Before you get to big games, I got to read a big super chat.
Oh.
Yeah. So Seth here says you have to do it live, Jerry, talking about shaving with the mayo. But Bobby and Jerry, what makes Flood so special as a developer? No transfers and has built monsters. This current OL looks like the makings of a potentially bruising team.
You know what I think it is, Bobby? I think he's a great communicator.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the thought of an offensive line coach is the angry, fiery guy that's always, the old school grabbing face mask. I think Kyle Flood's kind of the opposite of that. I think Kyle Flood is a great communicator. And if you're a great communicator, you have great relationships with your players. And then there's different ways to get these guys to develop and maximize. Torrey Becton does the dirty work for him. He gets the communication and the teaching part. And I think Kyle Flood's a tremendous communicator. That's the one thing I would say. And I think if you communicate the right way and you tough love the right way, you have the ultimate respect of the guys that play for you. And I think that's what you see with him because you haven't had many transfer out. The only time guys have transferred out is when they absolutely waited as long as they could to try to get on the field. It didn't work out. Then they transferred somebody to get on the field. That's a really good sign for for a position coach.
Or where a younger guy had passed them, like Cole Hudson had passed Logan Parr.
Yep.
I would say this. The one thing that is hard to do in this day and age is teach patience of young players. And Jerry mentioned communication, and that is a portion of it.
Yeah.
But you think about it, Texas has been able to take players and let them bake within the system. That doesn't happen everywhere. And to be able to teach players patience, to develop their patience over time, you think of Connor Stroh. I mean, Connor Stroh looked like he was literally going to be a career backup at Texas. Yet he kept going, kept trying, kept improving, and here he is starting. So I'm one of those guys that I believe that it starts very early, and I even think it starts with some of the guys that Kyle Flood recruits. He wants guys that are going to be playing the long game with him. He's not just, I want to start right away, coach. Yeah, there's going to be one or two of those guys every year as you recruit the blue chips, and that's okay. There's a place for those. But the long-term approach always wins out when you're developing an offensive lineman because no offensive lineman is fully developed at age 17 or 18 years old.
No chance.
And so, Seth, I think it's his ability to teach and develop patience with his players and prove it out over time. Let them become the best version of themselves.
And then we were talking about games before I interrupted you. My apologies. But Jeff Carey with Super Chat says, what games interest y'all this Saturday? He says he's personally interested in Baylor and SMU. Of course,
that's a good one because that kind of I'm actually watching that one, interested in that one from an Auburn standpoint, considering they're going to play Oklahoma in a couple of weeks. Because Auburn won at Baylor 38-24. Now Baylor's going on the road to make the short trip north to SMU. How, and I know it's not translatable, but how is Auburn, what we saw from Auburn, the way they played and won that game against Baylor and how they did physically, how's that going to translate for Baylor playing SMU? And I know it's different schemes and systems, but it's still going to be telling maybe a little bit about Auburn because Auburn rolled into Waco and they had the more talented team, but they looked faster. They were more physical. And they were able to win that game without putting a lot on Jackson Arnold's arm. And I'm really interested to see now if Baylor goes out and plays really well defensively against SMU, that may be telling that Auburn's a little better team than people think in a weird way.
Okay, so you're doing the transitive property.
The transitive property, yeah.
SMU in that game is only favored by 2.5, by the way.
Yeah,
which is kind of surprising to me, given they have a quarterback that led their team to the college football playoff last year, and he's back, and a lot of returning starters. I would say the games I'm looking forward to, obviously, Michigan, Oklahoma. Sooners are 5.5-point favorites in that game, by the way. Obviously, John Mateer is going to be one to watch. I would also add Ole Miss, Kentucky. It's kind of an interesting game. That's a 2:30 game on ABC tomorrow. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky at home last year.
That was one of the bigger upsets in that season.
Yeah, they're favored by 8.5 going to Lexington. The other one that's kind of sneaky to me, Jerry, is South Florida versus Florida.
Physical team, big quarterback, physical quarterback.
Yeah, Florida had a good first game against Long Island, but it's Long Island University. What are you supposed to say? But USF, which has been a dormant program for a while, by the way.
Yeah.
Beat Boise State in the opener and didn't just beat them. They beat them bad.
Yeah.
Florida now is 17.5-point favorites. We'll see how that rolls, but that's some of them.
Rod hit on the thing to watch in that game is USF gives up a lot of explosives in the passing game. Now that's how Florida could run away from South Florida. But South Florida's good. That's going to be a physical game. We didn't mention the Aggie on Aggie crime coming up in College Station. Utah State headed to town. Arizona State at Mississippi State. I know some people think, hey, can Mississippi State give Arizona State a good game? I like ASU. I like ASU to win that game. Michigan, Oklahoma, what I'm watching for is the Oklahoma offensive line in this game. That's what's going to be telling to me for Oklahoma's season is what does their offensive line look like against Michigan?
We'll go over all these games tomorrow in the Saturday morning conversation, by the way, as well as finish up with what we've got going on all the rest of the day in the Longhorns. Rod, myself, and Jerry Hamilton taking you through that so you guys can have something to listen to on the way to the game tomorrow.
Yep. Justin Yarbrough says, I think this year's offense could be more similar to the 2022 offense, but swapped, lean on the run game earlier in the season and add more to the passing game as Arch gets more comfortable. Your thoughts?
We talked about this headed into the season. If Sark is going to play Arch more under center, Bobby, the way this offense is going to be built is leaning on the power run game and then the play action game and then the drop back passing game. So I think there's an element to that in the way that Sark wants to build this offense throughout the season. Because the one thing I'll say is Arch was learned this game under center and as a drop back quarterback. And I think there's something to that. And I think that's what Texas changing the run scheme is fitting Arch, but also fitting what I think Texas feels like they need to do. So I do think they're going to build it that way a little bit, Bobby. I think that's what we're going to see this season.
I'm just thinking back, 22 is lost to Washington in the Alamo Bowl, right? That was such a work in progress. I hope by the end of this year that offense is not as big a work in progress. lot of young talent. I don't know. I'm on a wait and see on that, what I feel about this offense, because I just don't think we saw enough of it against Ohio State to kind of predict where it's really going to go. I mean, Arch needs to have a better game. And then let's talk about where we think this is going to go.
All right, Bobby, one last time. Tell us about BKCW and escaping the insurance trap.
Yeah, absolutely. BKCW is our partner. Every Friday morning's live stream brought to you by the folks at BKCW. They help you and your business evade or escape the insurance trap, operating out of its headquarters in Austin and owned by a UT grad. They offer you not just price quoting, but actual risk consulting. They design a plan, execute, and monitor your situation throughout the year so that you can lower your company's insurance costs and effectively manage your company's risk. BKCW.com. Send an email to info@BKCW.com to get started with a free risk assessment or claims audit and escape the insurance trap. Special thanks to them sponsoring us each and every Friday throughout the year. Thank you so much to BKCW Insurance.
Well, y'all are out there at Hayes City Store. We got time for a couple of more questions before we get out of here. And Joseph Curtis, and we've actually had a few people ask about this. And Joseph Curtis says, Bobby, I was reading your post this morning. I saw something about unreported injuries. Is there any way that you can speak on that, or is it just waiting until it's been reported by Sark and Co.? Just curious.
Yeah, I will just say this. There is a starter on defense that is currently injured and will be out for a couple weeks, most likely. I'm not the one that's going to tell y'all that. I'm not going to be the one that says the name until Steve Sarkisian wants to talk about it or it's obvious on the field tomorrow. I'm not about, because I do know that opposing teams watch our shows and listen to us. So that's not going to be where we're going to go with this thing. If you'll notice it tomorrow, would be my guess.
And as I said, y'all are out there at Hayes City Store. RWC says, are there any other On Texas Football streams at Hayes City Store today? Bobby, what's your plan for remote today?
No, just us. No, I think he's talking about later today. We're actually going to be here having lunch with Travis Tyndall and the group here. Please come out, hang out with us. We got a couple tables set aside. If you guys want to come in, we're just going to eat, have a little fun. Look at this backdrop.
By the way, the weather is spectacular here right now. I'm just here to
cross your fingers, man.
We got a good breeze here. It's kind of a little partly cloudy day. It's a gorgeous day. I'm really thinking about moving to Driftwood right now.
I will tell you, it's nice. The other thing I would say is they have these gorgeous oak trees that you can kind of see behind us. If you can look, if you show that on the screen, you don't mind. Like when you come out behind us, man, they have some just gorgeous oak trees.
There we go.
Yeah, that overlook this whole thing and kind of shade it all. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, here's give you a little more broader view right there.
Yeah.
Parth Brooks asked, are we going to be out here for a while? We'll be out here until about noon 15.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. We'll do this question from Dave Ashley. Bobby, Jerry, explain to me like I'm in kindergarten. How does Texas go from a dominant runner in Wisner who ran over 1,000 yards and tough yards to a running back by committee?
Well, I think I think nothing's really changed. Last year, Wisner had 1,086, what he ended up with. And Jaden Blue at 734. So I don't think anything's really changed or going to change here. I think Trey Wisner is, unless Cedric Baxter takes the brace off and gets a little more of that outside burst back, I think Trey Wisner is going to be a 1,000-yard runner again for Texas if he stays healthy. I don't think anything's really changed in that regard. Just a reminder that Jaden Blue had 734 last year as the number 2 back. I think we're going to see something totally similar to that this season.
If I were to add anything to that, it's I don't feel like Trey Wisner was a quote unquote dominant back last year.
Yeah.
He was a really good back, but dominant is 1,600 yards. Yeah. I mean, he was a 1,000-yard rusher in 16 games.
And a lot of that came the last.
Yeah. Great. I think he's a tremendous player. And I think he's showing like that cutback he made against Ohio State.
Yeah,
he sees the cutback lane as well as any running back maybe since Jamal Charles. I mean, and Bijan saw the cutback lane too. I forgot about that. But I didn't think it was a dominant performance by Trey, except for A&M. That was I felt like Trey put the team on his back a little bit, or at least the offense. So I would say that's first. Second is, to Jerry's point, Sed Baxter is a different style runner, and you're going to find people that can get in there. I think that Christian Clark is a little bit more powerful runner than Trey. So we'll see if he has a role. I just think that running back by committee, frankly, is the way most of how it goes in college football these days. I mean, it's not just Texas. It's everywhere. Because Sark also uses these guys so much in the passing game, like fundamentally uses them. That's extra carries. I mean, essentially. So I think you have to have a committee.
All right, y'all. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football. Bobby, what you got later today?
We got a bunch of stuff coming up, Blake. I got to tell you, we got everything from the show later today at the Co-op. Please come join us. We're out there courtesy of the 40 Acres Collection at the Co-op. Also, Garage Beer, a sponsor for that. Tomorrow, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have our game day versus San Jose State. We start 6 o'clock in the morning with our Saturday morning conversation, Tito's Handmade Vodka. Then we also have Tailgate Live brought to you by Hargrove Roofing. Then the Watch with us, Vaughn Lane, and Post-Game Live immediately following the game. Please tune in, if you would, to all of those. But I want to add this as far as what we have today. Blake, you have your high school show coming up with Coach Tim Buchanan and Coach Bob Shipley.
Carl Padilla.
Yeah, Carl Padilla. All those guys. Make sure you guys check that out. We also have some other news and notes. If they're breaking, we will break in with an update for you guys. We also have some stuff later today on the team and recruiting as well.
There we go. And again, we apologize about the technical difficulties that we had this morning, but hey, we got rolling, and that's all that matters. So appreciate all of you tuning in. We also appreciate BKCW along with Hayes City Store, Chubby's, Tacovas, Sticks, and Hexclad, all for sponsoring today's show. Hope you all have a phenomenal weekend this weekend. Of course, we'll be back Monday morning to talk about the game and then whatever else may happen between now and then. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks to Chris Del Conte, Brian Irwin, and Travis Tyndall as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.